Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being here. It's nice to see so many people attending the webinar. My name is Margherita Zornio, and I work for the Italian Ministry of University and Research, and I'm part of the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership Secretariat. Before I introduce you to the first two speakers of the day, I would like to give you some a structure of the webinar. So please be aware that the webinar is recorded, and the recording of the webinar will be available to everybody, not only to the ones who subscribe to this webinar. You will be able to find it in our communication channels, as well as in our website in the dedicated page of the call. The audio and video functions are only available for speakers, but you will be able to interact using the Q&A chat and tool. But please, we encourage you to use it only during the slot dedicated for Q&A in the 2 hours of the webinar. If you know to who you are addressing your question, please also write the name of the speaker that you are addressing, so to make it easier for us to answer your questions. So now let's start the webinar. I would like to introduce you to your first two speakers of the day. The first one is Viorel Vulturescu from the Romania Ministry of Research, of Innovation and Digitalization, and also Vice Chair of the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership General Assembly, and followed by Eduardo Carcajeiro, who is our policy officer, the Sustainable Economy Partnership Policy Office from the European Commission, DGRTD. So Viorel, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Margherita, and thank you for organizing this event within the framework of, I think, and I'm not wrong when I'm saying that this is the most important partnership that put together resources, people, and willingness. I would like, first of all, to thank the European Commission for supporting so many member states and associated countries in defining what I'm convinced that is the best partnership, because we are addressing extremely important topics, and we are putting together for the very first time all the seas, and the focus is not at the sea level, at the basin level, but at the European level. We are now trying to do something very ambitious, and all the partners are putting together efforts, respectively, to share the research infrastructure active in marine and maritime research and water research. It is very ambitious, it is extremely important, but I'm sure that we will achieve. And we, at the European level, will be the first that we're going to share research facilities, knowledge, data for the benefit, not only for the scientific community, which is extremely important, but also for the sake of citizens, shareholders, stakeholders, for the community and in entirety. Such a call will open basically a new gate in cooperation at the European level, and we should see Europe as a continent, not as a European Union. We're going to contribute to the European Ocean Observing System by providing data, information, technologies, and we're going to support our citizens in finding a better life. We're going to also to align the strategy and relevant component to the European Strategy Forum for Research Infrastructure. So I think we should also get in touch with the ESFRI people to share with us and to share with them what we are doing here, and we should be an example in Europe for this point. Also, what we are pioneering is to create synergies not only in research programs, but also in merging, in uniting and putting together funding from other programs for the sake of research and for the sake of Europe and our citizens. I'd like to thank you again for this invitation, and together with my colleague Alice and the whole team, we are part of a great and fantastic family. Thank you very much, Margarita. Floor back to you.
Thank you, Viral, for the nice words. And I give now the floor to Eduardo.
Well, thank you very much, Margarita. Well, ladies and gentlemen, dear SPEP colleagues, on Elisabetta Balzi's behalf, I would like to welcome you to this important session. First, I would like to name some significant policy initiatives introduced by President von der Leyen in her political guidelines for 24-29 that are crucial for our work, the work of SPEP. These include the European Ocean Pact, the Water Resilience Strategy, the Strategy on Life Science, the European Biotech Act, the Bioeconomy Strategy, and the Startup and Scale-up Strategies, this last one presently open for public discussion. The Commission is dedicated to improving access to finance, reducing regulatory burdens, and attracting talent through this new startup and scale-up strategy, and is working on improving simplification and transparency in Horizon Europe work programs. Strengthening the flow from basic research to marketization is essential to address Europe's lag in private investment and competitiveness. In the context of these ongoing policy dialogues, it's important for SPEP to demonstrate and effectively communicate the achievements and added value of the partnership and its contributions that go far beyond organizing the joint transnational calls. To this end, SPEP has identified several key intervention areas based on the strategic research and innovation agenda and the strategic alignment with national priorities at European level. These areas include developing the digital twins of the ocean at sub-basin scale, transitioning blue economy sectors by focusing on offshore multipurpose platforms, enhancing blue resources, including sustainable fisheries, circular aquaculture, and blue technologies, managing sea uses through decision support tools for ecosystem-based maritime spatial planning, and supporting and improving the resilience and competitiveness of coastal communities and business with the upscaling of nature-based solutions. As BEP enters this new phase, this becomes crucial for its success. SBEP will focus on scaling up additional activities, mobilizing assets, aligning national monitoring programs and clustering projects, all aimed at supporting the sustainable ocean governance, research and innovation, observation, but also investment resources. SPEP's next phase involves, though, significant developments. While implementing the strategic research and innovation agenda, SPEP launches this pilot transnational call that will offer access to a wide research infrastructure portfolio to public-private groups of blue economy stakeholders. Research infrastructures are becoming increasingly diverse and play a key role on promoting and advancing research across all scientific fields. They represent a significant proportion of investment in research and innovation and are essential for addressing complex social, technical, and scientific challenges. By launching this call, SPEP aims to improve the co-organization, co-sharing of resources within RNIs, enhancing definitional sustainability and management. This initiative will strengthen the impact and provide solutions for research funders, research organizations, scientists, and decision makers, among others. This call will also set an important example for other partnerships by incorporating an European and international dimension that is crucial for pioneering research in many scientific and economic areas. The current political, socioeconomic, and scientific landscape is quite challenging. However, this PEP initiative will facilitate a fair and inclusive transition to a climate-neutral, sustainable, productive blue economy that is in harmony with nature through coordinated research and innovation efforts. I thank you for your attention and commitment to making this PEP Info Day initiative a success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eduardo, for this very nice introduction. I will now give the floor to Margherita Cappelletto from the Italian Ministry of University and Research and the coordinator of the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnerships. Please.
Thank you, Margherita. Thank you, colleagues, for the very nice introduction and framing of this incredible day. Welcome to all participants and hopefully future applicants to this first pilot call for access to research infrastructure launched by the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership. I would give some information and contextualize the call text in the framework of the partnership activities. Actually, the partnership has been born as a Horizon Europe instrument to boost a just transition of the blue economy sectors by pulling together resources of now 30 countries among member state associated countries and third countries that joined the effort together with the European Commission for developing action according to a co-owned strategy. Actually, our starting point is the co-design and the sharing of the strategic research and innovation agenda. From the strategic research and innovation agenda, the intervention areas as pathways, thematic pathways to implement impact-oriented solutions are driving our activities. And if from one side, here they are, the four thematic that for the all 2024 characterized our action and activities are listed here: the digital twins of the ocean, the blue economy sectors, blue bioresources, and managing sea uses. For those of you who are already, let's say, acquainted with the partnership and the core business of publishing every year joint transnational calls for proposal on research and innovation, we are now evaluating, we are now about to publishing the winner of the second joint calls, while 19 projects are already up and running that stemmed from the first 2023 joint calls. Every year, and I would like to reassure that every year the partnership until 2028, when the partnership will be over, will continue to issue the joint call for research and innovation proposal. However, the consortium, together with the European Commission, recognized the incredible added value of developing as well additional activities. Among those, the idea of sharing research infrastructure. And here we are with our call text to for accessing the research infrastructure that are put at the disposal of the EU community by some partners of the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership that are acting in this context as providers. You can see here the 6 sections, the titles of the 6 sections and the 6 annexes of the call text that you will have the time to consult and read before applying. And we would like now, together with the support of my colleague Sylvain Pasquet from ANR France, to provide some information about the general approach of the partnership and the background of this call. Because as the joint call, as the additional activities, also this interest of member states to put together assets that are different from in-cash contribution and that are research infrastructure has been decided to support, to keep supporting, to add support to the general policy objective of the partnership, acting, in support of the European policy objectives. We have to remark as well that the value of research infrastructure has been highlighted not only in the Council conclusion, but also in the framework of the G7 Future of the Seas and Ocean Initiative Working Group, looking at the urgency of integration and harmonization of marine research infrastructure. I would not repeat what Viorel and Edu excellently presented, but just to pick up some aspect. Not only this call is implementing our objective and strategy, is supporting our internationalization strategy, offering a platform again for international cooperation, is acting in synergy with the relevant EU initiatives with the challenging aim to contribute to the observing system, as well as looking at the improvement of skills and development and deployment of innovative services through the alignment and valorization of national investment, including in the context in line with the roadmap of the European Strategic Forum for Research Infrastructure. The provider will offer, as we will hear in detail afterward, physical and remote access to some research infrastructure. But I would like to immediately point out a warning for those of you who are more used to the regular transnational access scheme by the European framework program and framework program calls. The access is itself in this framework, the access is offered, while the implementation of the project related to the access that needs that rely on the access is to be self-funded by the applicants. We have chosen to because we needed this action to support the objective of the partnership, we have mandatory indicate to the applicants that they have to contribute to at least one of the 4 intervention areas that I have presented. However, we didn't identify specific topic as in the joint call because we would like to give priority to a more broad approach, and why not even challenge the applicants to try to find ideas for addressing more than one intervention area. At least one of the intervention areas should be targeted. You have the short description of each intervention area that are quoted also in the call text, and of course you will have also the reference to a more detailed description, but please consider that beside some thematics, we are not asking any super specific research needs. In order to comply with our international connectivity approach that is based on the integration of pan-European level of the specificities of the different sea basins, we will also ask, of course, to give priority to international cooperation, to demonstrate that the willingness of the applicant, of course, to implement their project thanks to collaborative research at international level. And this will be done, as we will see in the eligibility criteria, by setting some threshold of a minimum of 2 partners from 2 different countries joining one proposal. I will stop for a moment now, giving the floor to my colleague Sylvain Pasquet, because we are from the National Research Agency in France. Sylvain is leading the work package of the partnership relevant for the impact framework. We should never forget that anything, whatever we do, is for having an impact in the society, and the aspect Sylvain will tackle should be considered as fundamental in building your proposal, in preparing your proposal, because they mirror an important component, important pillars of the overall partnership approach. Sylvain, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Margherita. So my name is Sylvain Pasquier. I work at the French National Research Agency, and as you kindly said, Margherita, we are leading the task with the aim of maximizing impact of the actions of the partnership. So I will start with a very brief background of the perspective of the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership regarding impact. So the actions of the partnerships are resolutely driven by the maximization of impact towards the green and digital transformation of the blue economy. We aim to encourage transformation that goes beyond the academic world with societal changes at large, including not only science, but also policy, environmental, and industry changes. So we strongly support the participation of industrial actors within the partnership to facilitate market uptake. And we also support policy uptake and the transfer of scientific results to feed in policymaking processes, and in order to reduce science policy gap. We invite you also to consult one report that is published every 2 years by the European Commissions on the performance of the European partnerships, such as the SBEP. This report assesses the performance, basically, of the European partnerships towards the objectives of green, digital transformations, resilience, which are basically the EU priorities. So the last edition was published in 2024, and you can find very comprehensive analysis on the performance of all partnerships, including the Sustainable Blue Economy. Next slide, please. So this leads me to the requirements regarding impact within this call. So we ask you in your proposal to describe the co-design and engagements of all types of stakeholders within your consortium of research, including industrial partners, citizens, or policymakers, if it is relevant for your research projects. We strongly consider that participation of stakeholders as means to enhance the impact toward changes for your R&I results. You're also invited to describe your approach to ensure that the use of the research infrastructure will actually support the project's results in delivering impact. So not only academic results, but also environmental changes, policy making processes, and society at large. You are asked to assess the project impact at the sea basin level, the sea basins that you target, and also possibly to address possible scalability in other European sea basins. For this, we highly recommend you to follow an impact pathway approach, relying on the methodology of theory of change. So most of you might already be familiar with this methodology, which rely basically on a logical framework, linking the outputs of your project to the outcomes and the long-term impacts. So this description is to be included in the part B of your proposal, the part B2, which is entitled Impacts, as you have a limit of 2 pages for this section. Next slide, please. To guide you with the description of this section, we invite you to consult the Annex A, which is entitled Theory of Change, and you will find different explanations on how to conduct theory of change and design your impact pathway. And you also have access to a very online resource made by our colleagues from the Dutch Research Council, the NWO, on how to design an impact pathway. Next slide, please. Thank you. So this leads me to another important perspective of these partnerships, which is promotion of the open access, sharing of data, and open science principles. So we highly encourage a wide and immediate access to your scientific data based on the FAIR principle, so findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. We promote actually a balanced approach regarding openness, since we are obviously aware of legitimate reasons for you not to share your data from the beginning of your project for intellectual property rights or commercial potential. So this is based on the principle as open as possible and as closed as necessary. So full and immediate access, for instance, of your scientific publications is required as long as there is no legitimate reasons for you to constrain this access. So regarding your proposal, we ask you to comply with these open science principles and also to provide a preliminary data management plan as part of your proposal. So you will find in the submission platform that will be introduced to you later on during this webinar, different questions. There are not so many. This is actually a preliminary data management plan in which you will be asked to describe the type of data that you will use, produced during your project. You will be asked how you will comply with the FAIR principles, how you will manage your data, will you share it, will you have a restriction period before sharing it, and so on. So this data management plan is to be included in the part B4 of your proposal, which is called Exploitation Measures and Preliminary Data Management Plan, and this should not be longer than half a page. Next slide, please. So you can use the Annex E, which is called Open Access and Fair Data, in which you will find the questions of the data management plan and support in the development of your DMP. And we also invite you to consult a very good practical guide that was developed by Science Europe. with very good support on how to deal with these questions. And I think this is my last slide. So thank you very much. And Margherita, I give you the floor.
Thank you, Sylvain. Let's continue now with some technicalities of the partnership, starting from the timeline. Today, the calls open and applicants will have 2 months to prepare and submit the proposal. Meanwhile, we will compose the evaluation panel, and the results of the evaluation are expected in mid-September 2025 for a starting of the projects that can span in between 6 months from November 2025 to May 2026. So we will also explain the reason why, and it's in particular to try to meet and accommodate the request of the applicants with, of course, the availability of the infrastructure that is made available. You have here some guidance on the lexicon, which is always similar to many different calls, but always at the same time different, and therefore we are listing here some keywords that you will find again in the call text and in the, most importantly, in the submission platform. The entire work is supported by a sort of secretariat of this call that is called the Transnational Access Management Working Group that lies in the framework of the partnership, and that will ask a group of independent international scientific and technical experts to evaluate your proposals. Of course, we need to address experts in the thematic area, the intervention areas I presented before, as well as technical experts from in research infrastructure management and the ethical aspects. Coming to the process, the first step, and it might be counter intuitive, but the very first step is to have a look to the catalog where the research infrastructure that are made available for this call are listed together with the contact of the provider. This is made public on the website of the partnership. You will have all the links. I take the chance to deeply thank the communication staff of the partnership that helped preparing the due support web page for this call. And then once you will have checked the infrastructure and really read every specificity, as well as contact the provider, you can start drafting, opening your account on the platform. We will see later, this can be done by the project, the principal investigator of each partner of the proposal, and start compiling the different sections. After the reception of the feedback from the evaluation, here we are working in a framework of one-stage call, not the two-stage one as in the joint call, regular joint calls. And before starting your project and preparing the access, you will have to sign together with the provider. At this point, since your proposal would have been selected for access, you will become a user, no more an applicant, but a user. and you will have to sign this agreement that is regulating the relationship between the provider and the user. Then everything is set to fully implement your project. Among the 15 eligibility criteria, these are the very entry point, are those criteria that will be checked by the Transnational Access Management Working Group and have nothing to do with the scientific evaluation. But these are very important content and technical requirement that any applicant should comply with in order to have their proposal sent to the international evaluation panel. So if those eligibility criteria are not met, the proposal will not consider for the scientific evaluation. Let me recall that, as said before, at least one intervention area of the partnership should be addressed. At least one and up to 2 research infrastructure should be requested, and at least one geographical area should be addressed as well. It's not by chance that we have decided today to present you the portfolio of infrastructure according to the different geographical areas, also to remark this important general approach of the partnership. For the reason that I mentioned, the important reason that each project should be self-funded, it is important as well to upload in the platform a declaration of commitment, meaning that the applicants should ensure, if needed, through the signature of the budgetary of the person in charge of the administration, and anyway who has some legal possibilities, a declaration of the fact that the funding is available for implementing the project. And then, because we said that the starting point is really the connection with the research infrastructure provider in order to explore the feasibility of your idea that will become a proposal, it's important that you confirm the consensus given to you by the provider. We will show you how this will be possible in the platform. To confirm, I mean, to support our approach on international cooperation, you should be at least 2 partners from 2 different countries, with a restriction that is very used at the level of transnational access European schemes, that an organization that is a research infrastructure provider, the majority of provider is indeed belonging to a research performing organization, cannot be leading or being partner of a proposal requesting access to the same infrastructure that is owned and run by the given organization. As well as a threshold is set on the percentage of the project investigator from the project leader and the other member of the team that shall belong to countries that are different from the countries that operate the infrastructure. The last eligibility criteria must seem can seem a little bit obvious, but very important. There should be one entity that takes the leadership, that one principal investigator can be project leader only in one proposal and participate as a partner in other proposal. The access shall be indicated, shall be started, and again, we will see technically how this will be indicated in the submission platform 6 months from the reception of the evaluation expected in mid-September, and terminated within 16 months from the starting date that the applicant can set. It's of course an indicative starting date. We will, from the let's say supporting working group, we will support all due interaction between the applicant first, but most importantly the user, and then the provider of the infrastructure, so that the feasibility of the project is ensured. The proposal should be written in English and submitted electronically with due respect of all indication and limitation on the formatting and page numbers and typology of attachment. We have agreed with the providers, with the European Commission, with all partners of the partnership to open this call worldwide, as it is usually done in the access scheme, with some threshold on the participation of the non-European countries accounted for in terms of unit of access provided. However, the project leader should belong, has to belong to one partnership countries. The countries of the partnership are 30 and are listed in the call text. Once you will have finalized your submission, our colleague will have the final word of this presentation in driving you to the submission platform. And once the eligibility criteria will be checked, your proposal will be sent to this group of experts, at least 3 of them for each proposal, that compose the international evaluation panel. I already mentioned how these experts are chosen. They have to follow the evaluation criteria set up out in the Annex C, so they are transparently written in the call text, as well as sign a declaration of confidentiality and conflict of interest form, declaring all their potential conflict of interest with submitted proposal. The procedure will imply a scientific evaluation that will take into consideration 3 aspects around which we have organized the submission template. You should be very used to the excellent pillar, the impact pillar, and the implementation pillar. A single ranking list will, let's say, based on these 3 criteria, will be then drafted, and we will identify 2 major categories for priority of let's say, enabling the access. And this is also because we will then need to check with the research infrastructure provider about a logistic evaluation before validating the ranking list. The feedback and negotiation before, let's say, selecting the successful proposal, of course, will take into account the maximization of the use of research infrastructure, the number of countries and regions involved in the projects, the balance between the intervention areas, as well as prioritize teams and members that have not previously used given infrastructure, or work in countries where there is no available such an infrastructure or is at present unavailable. The applicants, if successful, will receive an official letter, as well as not successful one, because all principal investigator of the project leader will be informed. I will end by giving an overview of the evaluation criteria. Basically, under the excellence, we have 4 clusters that are then, let's say, detailed into more specific information. For example, by fitting to the scope, we would like to read to understand whether the applicant has acted and has drafted a proposal that is pertinent to at least one intervention area of the partnership, to the region where the partnership acts, as well as the objective needs to be clearly stated and achievable. We also need to evaluate the background information, the novelty of research and of the approach, as well as the methodology and design. And in this regard, it should be emphasized how, to what extent, and it should be very well recognizable, the real need for using the selected infrastructure in order to support your project idea. In terms of impact, Sylvain has already provided a lot of elements, but here you have the 3 clusters of criteria, and where you can also emphasize how you can place your project and the access to the selected infrastructure in the framework of also other collaboration and network you where are and could be engaged. Last but not least, the quality and efficiency of the implementation refers mainly to the effectiveness of your work plan in terms of tasks and timeline, to the team, including the PIs and the members that can be joined by complementary expertise, the technical capability to carry out the activity, as well as the preliminary data management plan, as Sylvain presented. Thanks to one of the annex of the call text, a template is made available both for you when you will become a user and to the provider, that of course can be adapted to the necessity of the project in order to smoothly implement the access and the overall project. The Partnership Management Working Group will support you. The important aspect is that we need, when time being, the signed agreement notified, as well as when the project, when the access is over, an access report in a digital format that we will use as a monitoring tool. We are perfectly aware that the situation is not ideal because the projects should be self-funded. However, it is very important for us to make you aware of the opportunity of joining such a big pan-European family, as Viorel called it, because also because you will be part of many different opportunities for different activities, for networking and liaising with colleagues and stakeholders from countries and sectors, from different countries and sectors. And what we used to do when we have some projects in place is try to let them even flourish more, also through some dissemination and communication activity to which you might be invited. I will now stop, and before passing the floor to Laura and the research infrastructure provider, we can now open a few minutes of Q&A. I already saw that Miroslava, I'm really sorry for my pronunciation, asked and Margherita answered about the self-funded project. It should be funding that you have available in your organization, and therefore that you can prove through this declaration of commitment that the feasibility of your project is ensured, because there are these funding available. It's important to note that the cost of the project, although we will request some information in order to have an indication of the budget size of this project, but the cost of the project will not be, let's say, reported in a binding way to us, because the funding is put at the disposal of the project, I mean, by yourself, by the applicants. Then I see Michele asking, can a project on aquaculture participate? Yes, a project on aquaculture can participate according, I mean, we are not providing detailed input on the thematics. In a way, we are not allowed, but you saw how the intervention area are spelt, and you can find absolutely where is the link with the project you have in mind. About aquaculture facilities, since the selection of infrastructure was basically the result of a call of expression of interest that we launched before preparing this cycle of the partnership, for now, the portfolio, as it will be presented in a minute, is kind of fixed. We need to start from what we have. And we'll see if in the future we can also add aquaculture facilities. We would be very interested for sure in exploring collaboration opportunities with the private sector too. Giacomo is asking if under this call we can add other research infrastructure. Actually not under this call, but we will see if we will reopen this call for expression of interest, or how this let's say framework from our side of let's say connecting providers will change. It's a real opportunity and even an honor that all these providers joined the effort together. At the same time, it has been very difficult from a management perspective, so we should carefully evaluate I mean the effectiveness and threshold of having a certain number of providers. Actually, the infrastructure catalog will be released online. Just wait for the end of this webinar. Technically, the call opens in 4 minutes, and you will have every link to the relevant information. I'm responding now to Ross, available on the website. We will share it in this slide, in the chat, and most importantly, you will hear the provider themselves presenting it. I think I covered mostly all the question, and with no further delay, since we are a little bit late, I'll pass the floor to Laura Beranzoli from the Italian National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology, unfatiguing leader of the task that basically supported the coordination among providers to prepare this call and the portfolio of infrastructure. Laura, the floor is yours.
Good morning. A short session that makes a roundup of the research infrastructure which are included in the catalog. As Margherita just said, the catalog will be released shortly next days, in the next few days. And the list of the research infrastructure offered for access will be served, will be served by the user interested in submitting an application. The next, I would like to thank first the web communication team, especially JPI Ocean organization and VLIZ from Belgium for their work done on the catalog development. And we can go to the next slide just to say something about the catalog. The catalog gathered together 49 research infrastructure for 7 countries. So many research organizations have replied to the expression of interest to offer the research infrastructure, their research infrastructure. So we are thankful for this enthusiastic reply from the research organization, in spite of the strict rules for the access implementation. The research infrastructure are organized in different typology, and you will see here the list of the research infrastructure typology that we have considered: research vessel, fixed platforms and auxiliary device and experimental station, mobile platforms, portable equipment, analytical labs and test benches, and high-performance computing center and data center. So now we start with the presentation of some research infrastructure by geographical area, from the Baltic to the Black Sea and the Atlantic Ocean and the Med. So I ask Manfred Zeiler to start with the Northern Baltic Sea. Thanks.
Thank you, Laura, and good afternoon to everybody. It's a pleasure being with you and getting the opportunity to introduce the research infrastructures giving access to SBAP for the sea basins of the North Sea and the Baltic Sea. I will present 4 German research institutions, but there will be others, and I will come back to that at the end of my short presentation. I would like to start with the Alfred Wegener Institute. Next slide, please. The Alfred Wegener Institute offers access to their research vessels Heinke and Uttern. Here you find the web link where you get more detailed information about the vessels themselves. Please keep in mind that if you want to use access to the research vessels in general, you are not fully free in your work. You will be included into the work of the different institutions. And to give you an idea about the seagoing work, here they are mainly busy with biological, geoscientific and hydrographic research projects, so it's a very broad spectrum, as well as sampling of physical, chemical parameters in the water column, as well as the seabed at fixed positions in the North Sea. The cruise capacity for SBEP people is 12 people at maximum for Heinke and 4 for Uttern. RV calculates with 100 person days per year, and therefore for any details about what is possible on board, what are the capacity precisely, you are highly recommended to contact the persons at RV, which are namely Ingo Schewe and Michael Klages. You find their email addresses in Annex B of the call documents in the internet. Next slide, please. RV also offers access to their marine stations at the island of Helgoland in the North Sea and at the island of Sylt, which is at the North Sea coast. Here also you find the internet addresses with more details about both stations. The access offers you the opportunity for sampling of physical and chemical parameters as well as organisms in the water column and intertidal flats in the German North Sea, especially experimental approaches in the field and laboratory. The island of Helgoland is a very rocky environment. In contrast to that, the island of Sylt is at the borderline of the Wadden Sea with a muddy and sandy sediment environment. The capacity of both stations is 18 people for SBEP projects, or in the calculation of RV, 240 person days for this call. And also here, for further details, please contact Angela Dummermann. Here, her address is also mentioned in the annex. Next slide, please. Here is my agency, the Federal Maritime and Hydrographic Agency in Hamburg, and we offer the access for two of our research vessels. One is RV Altair for the North Sea, and another one, it is Vega or Deneb, that's not fixed, for the North Sea or the Baltic Sea. Also in the internet you find more information about both ships. We perform sampling of physical and chemical parameters in the water column and also at the seabed at fixed positions in the North Sea, but also in the Baltic. I forgot that here. No, in the German North Sea and Baltic throughout the year and during the summer cruise in the North Sea, which is mainly between in August and September each year. We have a capacity for hosting 1 to 2 SBEP people. At maximum, we can offer 4 days in total. And please contact my colleague Berit Brockmeyer for clarifying what is possible and available for access at our vessels. Next slide. That's the Leibniz Institute for Baltic Sea Research in Warnemünde, or IOW. They also offer access to one of their research vessels, which is Elisabeth Mann-Borghese. They are mainly performing marine chemical, physical, and biological investigations, as well as geological investigations for mapping seabed properties and pollutant load during 5 regular annual monitoring cruises. They are offering a capacity for 1 to 2 SBEP project scientists or technicians. And again here, please contact as soon as possible Regine Labrenz or Joanna Wanek if you are interested in access to IOW. And the last one is Leibniz Center for Tropical Marine Research in Bremen. They offer access to their analytical labs and test benches, access to data and lab facilities, as well as sharing specialist know-how on topics such as ship recycling, coastal tourism, mangrove and coral reforestation, blue carbon, marine social sciences, and modeling. And the condition is that it corresponds to their own interests. They offer capacity for SBEP project scientists and technicians on individual consulting, and therefore please contact the director, Raimund Bilschwitz, or Claudia Schüller at ZMNT. There are also other Leibniz Research Center offers access not only for the North Sea and the Baltic, but for all sea basins within SBEP. And therefore, there are other research institutions outside Germany which also offers access to all sea basins. That means there's also the possibility for working in the North Sea and Baltic Sea if you contact the Marine Institute in Ireland, as well as Istituto Nazionale di Geofisica and Vulcanologica and the Stazione Zoologica Anton Dorn in Italy, as well as the Hellenic Center for Marine Research in Greece. These institutions will be presented in the next presentations by my colleagues, and I'm happy to answer your questions in the Q&A session after the presentation of all the different research infrastructure. And with that, I hand over to Irina.
Thank you, Manfred. Irina, please, it's up to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Irina Stanciu, and it is my pleasure to present you today the research infrastructures in the Black Sea that GeoEcomar can offer access at. Next slide, please. Next. Also, one of the key infrastructures we provide access to is the Romanian component of EMSO-ERIC, an observation and monitoring system in the Western Black Sea. Next slide. EMSO-EUXINUS, that is the name for this network, consists of 3 buoys located between 105 and 140 kilometers from the Romanian coast at water depths of 75 to 90 meters. The infrastructure is operational since 2013 and was upgraded in 2024 to enhance real-time data collection. The main contact for accessing it is Vlad Rădulescu, director of EMSO-EUXINUS. Next slide, please. Our buoys provide comprehensive meteorological and oceanographic data. These observations are critical for understanding weather and seawater patterns, climate change impacts, and the interaction between the sea and the atmosphere. Next slide, please. There are 2 main ways we can grant access to EMSO Romania. The first one is via remote access, remote data access. All you have to do is to send an email request to Vlad Rădulescu mentioning which type of data you need from the buoys and the time frame from the data, and he will do his best to respond as soon as possible. And the second way is that we are open to receive on-site visits at GeoEcomar branch in Constanța, where is also the headquarters of EMSO-EUXINUS, for hands-on work, data analysis, and knowledge exchange. Next slide, please. In addition to EMSO Romania, we also provide access to RV Mare Nigrum. Next slide. Mare Nigrum operates in the Black Sea, the home port being Constanța, Romania. And the main information here is that besides the operating crew, the ship can host up to 20 scientists on board. So the appliance should consider that there is a very limited number of places available here. Next slide. Our ship supports a wide range, variety of surveys, making it an essential platform for multidisciplinary research in the Black Sea. We can provide support for geological surveys, mapping the seabed, and also investigating the recent geological processes, geophysical surveys, conducting bathymetry, seismoacoustics, side-scan sonar, seismic studies, marine magnetometry. We also do and have capabilities for biological and geoecological surveys, studying plankton, benthic organisms, and ecosystem dynamics. Next slide, please. This is a continuation. Also, we can add to the above mentioned oceanographic measurements of water chemistry and physical properties, sampling activities, including water, sediment, and biological, direct observations using ROVs and diving missions, greenhouse gas monitoring at the sea-air interface, and buoy deployment and retrieval operations. Next slide. We provide access to hands-on research on board Mare Nigrum. This is the only way it can be done. Scientists can board the vessel during scheduled GeoEcomar research cruises and only back-to-back with our own surveys. So this is why I said that it is a very limited number of places available, because that 20 maximum includes also GeoEcomar researchers. But this allows access to Mare Nigrum research facilities and of course to the Black Sea, and why not collaboration with GeoEcomar experts. Main contacts for access are Ștefan Florescu, which is the director of our research vessels department, and Mihaela Melinte, which is the scientific director of GeoEcomar. So this is my last slide. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Irina. Thank you, Irina, also for pointing out that some research infrastructure are already part of pan-European research infrastructure, and that's it's a great success. So let's go ahead with Audan Fitzgerald on the Atlantic Ocean research infrastructure. Please, Audan.
Hi there, thank you. So my name is Aidan Fitzgerald. I'm the Research Vessel Manager in the Marine Institute, and I'm also the coordinator of the Aquarius project, which is also a transnational project, Transnational Access project, slightly different to this one. So I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of the Atlantic Basin research infrastructures that are available through the SBEP infrastructure call. So we have some satellite systems. So we have the access to the Air Center in Portugal, which is a satellite direct receiving station and a high performance computing environment. And there's also the NERIDE data center, which provides services for development of tools for data analysis and elaboration. There's 60 days of access available to that. So next slide, please. So we're offering access in the Atlantic to the Marine Institute research vessels. So that's the RV Celtic Explorer and the RV Tom Crean, a total, and the ROV Holland 1. So we have a total of 46 days of access being made available between all three of those infrastructures over the course of 3 years, I believe, or it may all indeed happen in 1 year. And then the Walter Herwig 2 is offering 2 places on a 54-day Sargasso Sea expedition in 2026, I believe. So just the difference between the Celtic Explorer and the Tom Crean and the Holland is that dedicated access has been provided to applicants there, where they would have the sole use of the vessel for their objectives. I think if you could click on the pictures of the, I have a hyperlink. No, okay, forget it. It's okay. There's no need. It doesn't work. If you can click there, yeah. So Okay, it doesn't seem to be. It's popping up into a new window. So please ignore that. It's fine. I can tell you a little bit about the Tom Crean and the Celtic Explorer if it's simpler. So the Tom Crean is a 53-meter vessel, can take up to 13 scientists. The Celtic Explorer is a 65-meter vessel, can take up to 20 scientists. They're all capable of deep water multi-beam mapping, deep water CTD work, demersal and pelagic trawling, atmospheric studies, mooring, install and recovery. The ROV Holland is rated to 3,000 meters. It can be deployed from the Celtic Explorer, or indeed it can be deployed from other ships of opportunity, including research vessels such as the Pelagi and others around Europe. Yeah, so we can go to the next page, please. But just in terms of area of operation, on the right, you can see where the Celtic Explorer operates in a typical year. So in this case, it was operating in the Labrador Sea, the northwest Greenland coast, over as far as the Baltic, down as far as the Mediterranean, and all heavily around the northeast Atlantic. Tom Crean then works generally slightly more coastally, out to the edge of the Irish EEZ and beyond, down into the Bay of Biscay and all around the coast of Ireland and into the Celtic Sea. And in the bottom left, you can see the areas that the ROV Holland has been deployed in the last little while. So from the Mediterranean to the Gulf of Cadiz, Mid-Atlantic, west of Ireland and the banks in the west of Ireland, north of Svalbard, west of Svalbard, south of Green Iceland. So it basically goes all over the northeast Atlantic and beyond. It can be shipped to places, can be shipped to the Mediterranean if necessary, if there's a vessel suitable there. Otherwise, it's largely transported on one of our vessels or another vessel that would come and collect it from its home base. Okay, next page, please. So there are quite a few laboratories available that are across, I believe, across all basins. So there's the Primac Exocosms, which is a control system for experiments with marine organisms. It's 20 days access there. Then there's MOTAX, which allows study of the taxonomy of marine organs. So there are up to 40 days access there. And then the CSAM, the Center for Sequencing and Molecular Analysis, again, 40 days access there. So next page there, please. Then sorry, that's a repeat there. Then there's the Lab of Fluid Geochemistry and Lab of Radionuclides, 40 days access. Also paleomagnetism and environmental monitoring labs there. And then the Liebitz Center for Tropical Marine Research, I think it's 4 labs and giving 5 days access per call there in the Liebitz Center. Okay, so next page. So the fixed platform then, and my colleague may have covered this, but there's access to 14 long-term moored infrastructures in the Atlantic, including the 11 South Observatory, the 53-degree Observatory, the 23 West Observatory, and off Cape Verde. And these will allow up to 1.5 to 2 year long experiments to be facilitated at these locations. I think that might be the last page for me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Adam. So we have the last presentation from Lorenza Evangelista about the Med Basin.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Laura. Thank you all. Lorenza Evangelista, National Research Council of Italy, and I will provide the overview of the several research infrastructure available and located in the Mid region. 29 research infrastructure are offered in this call, 9 research vessels, 11 fixed platform, 5 mobile platform, 3 analytical labs, test benches, and 1 high-performance computing and digital resources. Before starting with the description of the SBP portfolio, I would like to underline that also for the Med region, the call is designed to complement the research infrastructure offered within other initiatives funded by Horizon Europe. Next slide. The partnership give access to different class of research vessels. Here a showcase of some of them. The research vessels offered are global, although the operations are limited to the Med Basin in this call, regional and also coastal one. Next, please. Here, the list of all research vessels provided. Laura Bassi of the National Institute of Oceanography and Applied Geophysics, Gaia Blue of the National Research Council of Italy, the research vessel Aegeophilia in Poseidon of the Hellenic Center for Marine Research, research vessel Anton Dorn of the Zoological Station Institute, and also the hydrologic vessel of the National Marine Hydrography Institute of Italy. We have reported just an overview of the main disciplines addressed and the unit of access that is around 1 week per vessel. It's clear that for this type of facilities, we encourage the physical access. Information on port technical specification capability that is required for the access, the link and data and time are available on an online project website. Next, please. Moving to the next research infrastructure type, we have fixed platforms, 11, located in the Med Sea. Due to the limited time, we prefer to highlight the geographical coverage of these facilities. So here there is a map and the main disciplines. We have a marine observation system, coastal radar network, mooring, other fixed platforms that are also in European Research Infrastructure Consortium, sensor, and also environmental monitoring laboratory and weather station. The disciplines addressed are mainly oceanography, climate change, but also biological oceanography, pollution, hydroacoustic, and also CO2 storage, environment monitoring. And also it's possible to study process and interaction of seawater maps. Next slide. In addition to the fixed platform, the call gives access also to mobile platforms such as ferry box, gliders and fleets of gliders, drones and aircraft. For the latter, so we have also detailed that the payload that provided as important information. Let me say that also in this case, we encourage the joint use of this research infrastructure with research vessel and fixed platform in a framework of integrated services to address multidisciplinary research activity. And to conclude, the last type of analytical labs and test branches, we have the Mesocosmos facility of CNR, the Panarea MATLAB of ENGV for test instruments for monitoring CO2 emission, and also the already mentioned facilities of the SZN, and also the already mentioned high performance computing and digital resources generated data center of ENGV. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you, Lorenza. So, Margherita, I give back you the word in case you want to moderate question and answer on this session.
Thank you very much, Laura. Thank you, colleagues, for presenting the portfolio. It is now time for question, but I don't see new question online. I can just confirm that if we are finally able to share the relevant links and to the web page. Let me check in case you can also maybe Laura, this is for you. Among the research infrastructure already identified, is there anyone dedicated to marine renewable energy?
No, at the moment. Although if some applicants can propose, are able to propose testing about components of a further larger equipment, I think they could investigate the possibility to do it.
Thank you. And now I'm picking from the chat. However, we encourage to use the Q&A tool. Bilal Said asking, should we must use one the research infrastructure catalog to apply. Actually, Adan, would you like to intervene? Sorry. No. Okay. One of the research catalog to apply, actually you should look at the research catalog. It's a single one organized by typology. Please, Laura, correct me if I'm wrong, by typology of infrastructure. And then, as Catherine in a minute will present, you will have to apply into a dedicated tool. But since you will have to select the name of the infrastructure that you have chosen, you should at first consult the catalog and get in contact with the relevant provider. I hope I have answered correctly to your question. I don't see, yes, in the chat. Okay, Margherita has just made available also the link on the chat that many of you should be able to read. So with this, noting that there are no additional questions and with no further delay, I'm seeing that Gert is sharing an important information about marine renewable energies, which is actually very well placed in connection to one of our intervention areas. Thank you, Gert. And let's now thank Laura and all the providers that were available to make this presentation, and pass the floor to Catherine Saar from ETAG Estonia, and passing the floor enable me to thank her very, very much. I think that colleagues from ETAG were fantastic in developing the submission platform. They have the experience maturated for developing the platform, enabling the submission to the joint call, but this was a different story. Catherine, the floor is yours. I saw that you asked for controlling the slide, so I leave you with this, and thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. It will be easier if I do it myself. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon from Estonia. I'm here to present you the submission platform for your proposals. If you have used this platform before in the previous calls, you will find it very, very familiar. It's more or less the same with some slight changes that are accustomed to this call. You can get the link from these slides, and you also will find the link in the call text when you get to see it. When you open the platform, you will see this kind of different kind of elements there you can use. First of all, you have to create yourself a user if you don't have that before. Then you can create a new application, put there a new proposal acronym, and then start forming your proposal. When you start forming your proposal, you will see this kind of a list of different parts of the proposal. If you want to navigate between the parts, please use these links here. It will make your life easier than going using the back or forward buttons, for example. So the list consists of general information where you can edit your proposal title, acronym, start date, and keywords. Then there is a project description part where you have to upload a PDF file. And here you can also add partners to your proposal, and also can edit your own information there. Your organization details, CV for the project leader, upload your declaration of budget availability, and also you can preview this part of the proposal there. There are also some additional parts. For example, if you have any reviewers you want to exclude from reviewing your proposal, you can list them there, but it's not mandatory. There are some requirements you need to fill in, for example, ethics, do no harm principle, use of personal data, and so on. And also a part where you can upload letters of intent by research vessel providers, and so on. And the last part is where you can view your proposal in full and then submit it. So let's see the general information part. First, when you open it, you can see the project title, give it the acronym. In some places, you have to choose one or multiple choices, for example, the intervention area. And here you can also list your main infrastructure. If you scroll a bit down, you will be able to list alternative infrastructure and choose your geographical area. Keep in mind that almost all fields are required to be filled in. If you don't do it and miss some fields, you won't be able to submit your proposal. And if you find it's in the last minute that something is not filled in, it can cause a bit of distress and anxiety in the last minute. So please be sure to check that you have filled everything out that needs to be filled out. That is not optional. When you reach the project description part, there you can find a template that you can download and use for a proposal. And then please upload it as a PDF. This can be done only by the project leader. And then there are some requirements you need to keep in mind. The uploaded PDF cannot exceed 12 pages. If it is more than 12 pages, then the last pages will be automatically made invisible, and it will not be given to the evaluators to see. Therefore, you might lose some very important information about your proposal. So keep that in mind. Now, if you want to add partners to your proposal, you can do it quite simply. First, you need to tell your partner that they need to also create an account in the EPSS platform. Then you can add it simply by this green button. You will have to insert the name and email. And then if you have done it, the partner doesn't receive an automatic invitation from the platform. You need to tell it to your partner yourself that they need to log on and see if they can see an application in the platform, and they have to accept this application. Again, each partner, if needed, can fill out information about their systems, or project leader can do it for themselves. But the team members of the principal investigator cannot get access to the application. So only project leader and principal investigators can get access to the proposal. Keep that in mind. So the PI has to work on it themselves. And only the project leader can and must add the CV to the to upload in the system for the proposal. So next up is the declaration of budget availability. This is something also you can upload quite simply. And this can be to show evidence that your organization supports your activity. It can be either a financial or in-kind contribution. And if you have a grant for this participation, you need to provide the information about the funding scheme in this file you upload. Also, you need to upload signed official this declaration needs to be signed officially by the relevant person in your organization. It should be maximum 1 page in English, of course. And keep in mind that letters of support are not accepted to be uploaded with this proposal. And lastly, some important details. You can submit your proposal as many times as you want before the deadline. And the submission can be done only by the project leader. But when the deadline comes, exactly at 3 o'clock in Brussels time, the system will lock itself automatically, and therefore you will not be able to submit it after 3 o'clock. So please don't leave it to the last minute, if at all possible. And if the deadline is passed, you will not be able to edit or submit the proposal then yet. And to do the submission, you have to have all the required fields filled out. If that is not done, you will also face some difficulty and will not be able to submit the proposal. So don't leave it at the last minute. It might happen that the system will be overloaded and a bit slow in the end if everyone submits at the last minute. But I wish you luck, and this is a quick guide to the submission platform. And if you have any questions, there is also a dedicated email address for the technical help. Okay, I will give the controls back now.
Thank you very much, Catherine, for your presentation. Everything seems very smooth and simple, but I do encourage, as you did, all applicants to get familiar with the platform sometimes in advance before the submission deadline. I also take the chance to take a question that was related before to the presentation of the catalog before. If Lorenza is still with us, Francesco is asking more information about the coastal radar network. Anyways, in the catalog that is made available, there are all the contacts by infrastructure per infrastructure. And I don't know if Lorenza or Laura can jump in about this coastal radar. That's if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, Margherita.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks a lot.
Yes. Coastal radar, if I'm not wrong, they are not yet included, or maybe CNR as something, Lorenza?
Yes, I think Francesco is referring to the slide of Lorenzo, so let me go back.
Yeah. Yes, coastal radar is the one research infrastructure offered by CNR, and yes. Now, this is our fixed platform. Yes, I think.
Yes, among which there is the coastal radar network by CNR.
Yes.
If we cannot get back to you more precisely, I would recommend to check with the contacts of the provider that is in the list of contacts.
Margherita, if I can add, this kind of research infrastructure are classified within the fixed platform typology.
Yes, exactly. As from this slide that I'm now showing. So sorry, Francesco, not to be more precise, but you can always follow up. So about the presentation of Catherine, do you have a specific question? Do you have other question related to the presentation made until now? I would like, since I have the floor, I would like to remind two aspects that maybe were not emphasized as needed. One is a technical aspect. When you are creating a team of partners for developing a project, please note that not all partners and the different members have to access the infrastructure. In a project, you could also have some person accessing the infrastructure and some person that are dedicated to other tasks that not necessarily entail the access to the infrastructure. And on a more general note, we would like to stress again that this is a pilot call. We will, of course, try to enhance the process thanks to the application that we will receive. So this is also to say thank you to the applicants that will be engaged, because you will truly contribute to this, let's say, for a partnership, it's really a groundbreaking action, because although inspired, as Laura said, to the Transnational Access Scheme, actually this call has its own specificities, starting from the tight support to the partnership objective, as if within a program we are also deploying this infrastructure as asset. I'm quickly going to the end of the slide by Catherine, and I'm not seeing any Q&A. Please kindly address them now if you have other curiosity, even technical one about the submission form. If not, we have here the recommendation and useful link, and also emails where we and colleagues managing the platform will be responding to your question, and not in terms of the scientific content and topic. This is something we will not do, but in order to provide all support in connecting you with the provider, ensuring that you have due information, or solving technical problems, for instance, in relation to the submission platform. Please look at the website. There is already a news published, as Margherita shared, where you can start digging into the catalog, and then, as we said, you can start by contacting the provider and creating your user account. I am about to conclude, and not after having deeply thanked all research infrastructure providers, without whom this call wouldn't have been possible. Of course, colleague under the task related to the preparation of the call text from INR France, and of course all my colleagues, and ETAG from Estonia, all my colleagues at the Secretariat, and the communication staff from JPI Oceans and Blitz in Belgium. As you can see, this is really a pan-European effort, and I hope that you have now all the information to start applying. Thank you, Margherita, for posting the news also in the Q&A tools and for all your support. With this, I would like to close this webinar and that will be shared as well together with of course the slides that are part of this presentation. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, colleagues, for your support, and thank you, participants. Hope you can find interesting applying to this call. Bye bye.